Out in the South Pacific, northeast of Australia, lying in the heart of the volcanic ring of fire is the country of Vanuatu. It's a chain of 83 islands that makes up a Y shape. There are around 115 distinct languages, making Vanuatu the world's highest concentration of different languages per people group. Our journey is going to start at Port Vila, the capital. Port Vila lives up to its name. A laid-back port city of relatively small size, nestled in a tropical paradise. In the harbor, one can see traditional banana boats, fishing vessels, and many private yachts. One of the main sources of income is tourism. Vanuatu is a well-kept secret from many mainstream tourists, making it a safe and wonderful place to visit. In Port Vila, you can see tourist shops everywhere, and yet many of these people rarely venture out to the really remote islands. The main market in Port Vila is a vegetarian's heaven, with every type of tropical fruit and vegetable you can imagine. And the prices? Well, let's just say everything is a really good deal. And there are a large variety of odd-looking root crops, and even giant avocados. Also located in Port Vila is the Adventist Mission Headquarters, complete with a small ABC bookstore and mission offices. There's a large church and a very active church school situated on this beautiful campus. I met with church leaders to ask them their thoughts about Layman Ministries' new medical missionary launch in the remote northern islands.
Hello, my name is Pastor John Lehman, and I am the president of Vanuatu Mission.
I'm 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦. I'm the General Secretary of Vanuatu Mission.
It is the first time for the Seventh-day Adventist Church to have a missionary, white missionary station there.
So people like Mark and his family are real special pioneers.
Actually, the place is quite far, remote.
The people there are very isolated from other towns.
The remoteness of the area, it's quite far.
From 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦, the real only connection with the outside world is the airplane. And if it rains real heavy, the planes don't even land there.
In fact, ships go there once every 3 months, especially the trader boats carrying the kaku, and it's quite tough living in those islands.
It's a long way from any other close island, so going there is really only by plane, or if you've got a lot of carriage, you can take a boat across, which probably will take you between 6 and 8 hours, depending on the weather of the day.
No, I don't know of any other doctors working in that province.
We just want to thank the work of Dr. Mark and his sponsors. I don't think the sponsors will ever realize the impact on the lives of not just individuals, but villages and islands, and on the whole nation itself. To have a full-time doctor on the island of 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦.
Pastors Lehman and Venter are talking about Dr. Turnbull and family who are working with Layman Ministries. We soon boarded a plane at Port Vila to fly to the remote island of Santa Maria, now called 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗏, where Mark and his family were just getting settled in. From the plane, you can see the shallow coral reefs surrounding the volcanic islands. In fact, 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏 is a small island with an active volcano surrounded on 3 sides by a lake. You could say it's a geothermal accident just waiting to happen. We landed on a coral runway covered by grass. The airport wasn't much, but Dr. Turnbull and his friend Matthew were there to meet us with some fresh coconut milk.
Hi, Jeff. Ready for a coconut?
This is the main freeway in 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏.
about 14 kilometers long. This is a typical home setting in 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦. Very close to us is the home of James, who's the elder of our congregation here.
Mark and his family were graciously given this tourist resort to use as a mission outpost. Never once has a tourist ventured to the remote jungles of 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗏 to use this facility, so it was just sitting empty. It has a volcanic river that flows from the lake above, which provides ample water for all their needs.
For Doctor+Family, let me give him small talk to you in English. So, somebody come from the island. So now we start our program by you present.
We're just setting up our clinic. We need to get some of this medical kit out of our house. We've been seeing a few patients from here, but it's a little cluttered, so we want to move it down to the clinic.
Mark's daughter, Kay, is his left-hand helper.
We've been here only 2 weeks now, and we're just settling into this new location on 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏𝗧𝗏 Island. The Lord has blessed us with some extra space in these small huts beside the house that we're staying in, and we're going to be using this one for our clinic. And this is just some of our medical supplies. We've got a lot more to bring in, but at this point we don't have much bench space or shelving, but we'll make do with what we've got.
So where did you get some of these medical supplies?
Most of our medical supplies has come from donors in Australia. We have a very close friend of ours who works as a scrub nurse in a operating theatre in hospital in Queensland, who's supplying us with a lot of equipment and material. We also have had people who have donated financially towards purchase of medical supplies, and the Vanuatu government is also helping us with some of the medications that we use here.
What all do you have in the boxes here? What has been donated?
Jeff, I've got a lot of a full spectrum of medical kit here. It's a very comprehensive kit. It includes some stuff for minor surgery, some more critical care equipment and supplies, and even dental supplies. So I have quite a good spread of medical supplies to work with.
Vanuatu's got an interesting history. As early as the time, 1,000 years before Christ, people came from as far away as Papua New Guinea and came to these islands. Then in 1606, Ferdinand de Quiros, he was a Portuguese man that was on an expedition for the country of Spain, came and he discovered, quote, discovered, and I always thought it was interesting that people from the West, when they come to a group of islands that's already inhabited, they, quote, discover these islands. But he discovered the island of, quote, Santos, and then on his expedition he came up here to this island of 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏, and he called it Santa Maria. They tried to establish a Spanish colony here, and that lasted for a whole 49 days until the whole group of men that were with his expedition just basically bailed out and they left. Later on, the French came here, and then in 1774, Captain Cook came here and he, quote, founded the islands again. They called it the New Hebrides Islands. The famous story called Mutiny on the Bounty. Captain Bligh of that ship, when he was basically taken off that ship, came up by here and actually went right by this island group of the Bank and Torres Islands, which this island's a part of. In 1906, they set up an Anglo-French alliance. It was called a condominium, and at that time the French and the English ruled the New Hebrides Islands together jointly with a dual government system. That must have been interesting, knowing the history between the British and the French. But anyhow, what ended up happening is they had two sets of rules, like two sets of laws. They even had two sets of police. They had two different types of judicial systems, and they had two different prisons. And some people preferred to go to the British prisons, and some people preferred to go to the French prisons. But that rule went on all the way up until into the 1960s and 70s. And finally, 1980s, Vanuatu got complete independence. And in 1980, they went by the name of Vanuatu and have been called such ever since.
They're starting to prepare the kava for this afternoon.
Kava drinking is very common among the village people in Vanuatu. These men use pieces of coral to grind the root up into a paste to be mixed with water. Tribal dancing is still common in the more remote areas, such as here in the Torba and Bank Islands. Now, kava, from what I've been told, is a bitter, earthly flavored, somewhat narcotic concoction that makes people feel relaxed. It's been used for centuries in the South Pacific and for various occasions, and was commonly even served at meetings between rival chiefs of warring tribes.
In this shape.
The chief is the first one to drink this freshly made kava. It's just one of the cultural challenges that Mark and his family face as missionaries. We were told that this stick dance represents birds in a forest that defend themselves against a bird of prey. We're not really sure if that was the case or not. Dr. Mark and Matthew head over to where Layman Ministries' boat is anchored. The shallow coral reefs and the changing tides make storing the boat a real trick, not to mention navigating around the island.
These are two 25 horsepower Mercury Marina engines, and they're very, very reliable, very good. Haven't had any problems with them. We're going outside the reef on the way back because the lagoon is a bit shallow with the low tide. This one? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see.
They stopped at another small bay to pick up some helpers and the medical supplies. They're headed around the island to visit a remote village where we were told there's never been a doctor.
Okay.
As you can see, the waves break a long distance from the shore due to the shallow coral surrounding the island, and off in the distance you can see other volcanic islands. As soon as the boat landed in this small, desolate little beach, young men came out of seemingly nowhere talking in a rough-sounding dialect, carrying machetes and knives. These strong young men helped carry the medical supplies and gear up the steep, slippery, muddy trail through the tropical forest. Dr. Mark was surprised at the size of this village, yet few people came out, at least at first. They were also happy to find out that these people were very friendly. The chief of the village did a short introduction for Dr. Mark, and then Philip, a lay pastor working with Dr. Mark, explained to the people, using the 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦 language, why they were there. It was evident that medical missionary work is truly an entering wedge to the hearts and minds of people.
Young people, all beginning. We take time long. Firstly, tell them thank you to Mas Lokota. Time we spend them, we know by accident, we coach plan that we have stop together this web and we have taken Doctor+Family camp and we plan all medical circumstances. Main purpose block kami, we will help him with plan.
In a few minutes, a bamboo building was secured and a day clinic was set up. And for you that have weak stomachs, we're only going to show you a few of the treatments.
It's a large dental carie which is affecting the root of a premolar tooth, which needs to come out. What I like is yeah, that's good. There it is. Okay, let's put it in.
This is gonna go away by itself, and the only thing is to help the child with itching and scratching.
I could really use an X-ray machine right now.
Most of these people have never seen a video camera before.
First of all, okay, so it's been washed?
Yeah.
Having only been there for 2 weeks, Naomi and Kay were just getting settled into their new living quarters.
Here is our living quarters at the moment. This is the only one room we've had mosquito-proof, so everything's in here. It's our bedroom, storage for the moment, and living area. Kitchen table, which is one of the boxes we had shipped. We've put a board across the top, and that's our table at the moment. And then our kitchen work area here and pantry underneath. Yeah, we hope to get an outdoor kitchen in time so I can cook outdoors like the other local ladies do. But it is nice to have the gas for rainy days when I can't get my fire going.
How long have you been here now?
2 weeks today.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have quite a few more changes to make in our living quarters as we get a chance. The light will be alright if you can see around the corner here. We have our computer gear, the battery, this being charged by the solar panels outdoors, and the inverter to run some small appliances. I have a blender, we can run the computer, and a drill and a few things like that.
I'm throwing up the sewing machine.
Where's electricity for that?
Here.
Kay is involved with homeschooling, helping her mother, and is often a scrub nurse for her father when he treats patients. When I asked her if she liked being in the mission field, she said she loved it.
I'm about to check my email using a satellite phone which Layman Ministries has provided. So we'll show you how it's set up. Okay, I just set up the satellite phone. It's ready to receive and transmit signals. Okay, the satellite phone connects by this USB cable to the computer, and we just connect via some special software directly to the satellite.
And this little cottage here, every night I have kind of like a little ritual I have to go through before you get ready for bed. One is that you burn these mosquito coils. I don't know if you've ever seen these before. It's kind of a coil that is designed to kill all the flying insects and the mosquitoes, because there's a lot of malaria here. It's rainy season right now, and I don't know if you can hear the rain outside. But you have to light one of these, and it's kind of like incense, and it kills off all the mosquitoes. This thing here, once you get it going, we set it on the floor. It's like a coil thing. All kinds of nice bugs in here. Check out this spider. Ew, this spider is huge. The first thing I do is I usually go through and check my bed for cockroaches. They have some really stuff on my bed. It's from the bugs falling off. No cockroaches tonight. Living in the forests of Idaho, you don't have to do this kind of stuff. But here in the South Pacific, the Ring of Fire, the Turnbull Island groups, mandatory, or you could get malaria.
The ladies started sorting jungle cabbage and started peeling several different types of yams and sweet potatoes. By the way, these yams and sweet potatoes aren't anything like the ones we have in America. Next, they build a fire in a pit and cover it with rocks. The, quote, potatoes are grated on homemade grates made from pieces of sheet metal that have been poked full of holes by a nail. Banana leaves have their spines stripped, and the spines and the leaves are softened over the rock fire. Nanyang nuts, which have a flavor similar to an almond, were gathered from the jungle, are cracked, and carefully grated. Next, the banana leaves are laid out to make a clean surface for the final preparations of the 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦. An ample sprinkling of the ground nuts are spread over the, well, I guess you could call it the grated potato goo. The bundles are then carefully wrapped and tied. This is a triple-decker. That's it?
Yes.
After about 2 hours, everyone is ready for a 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦 feast.
Well, this is the final product of 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦, as you can see right here. And it's kind of a gelatinous type of stuff, similar to that cassava bar that they make in the Philippines. This kind here has the wild cabbage on the top that you saw the ladies putting on it. I'm going to give it a try. I wouldn't want to make a steady diet of it. I think Mark and his wife and family probably will be. That's 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏. A lot of work.
I'd like to introduce you to Philip. This is Philip, and he is the minister, the SDA minister stationed on 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏 Island, and he's a great friend and brother and helper in the work.
Yeah.
And we're very privileged to be working together. Yeah, it seems that 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗦 is an English, it derived from English, but it has a grammar which is derived from Melanesian languages. But it also contains a lot of words that come from Melanesian, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So, how do we say, let's go and see that that patient in the village nearby?
You may go look sick man, yeah, lo village close up, yeah.
The airplane is going to land. It's going to land.
Plane he fall down. Plane fall down, yeah. Plane he fall down.
How would you say, back in the old days, when pianos were first introduced to Vanuatu,
Yeah.
the people had a little difficulty describing what a piano was. What was the way they would describe a piano?
Okay. Probably time blotalem piano lo manu himina looking, me like describe him say one big fella box. Some tooth plehem me black, some me white. Time you kill him, he cry.
Okay, in English that would be a big fella box is a big box. Some tutti white, some tutti black. That means some of the teeth are white and some of the teeth are black. Time you kill him, when you hit it, he cry, which means it makes a noise. It makes a singing noise.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Vanuatu is famous for its brass bands. These gentlemen wanted to entertain us before I left.
Our primary goal is to reach unentered territory. That especially involves Torres Group of the Turnbull province, which is the northern province of Vanuatu. And to some extent we also want to reach the Banks Group, but mainly Torres Group and also Southeast Solomons. These areas are very remote, but they are opening up to the gospel. We need to get here in those places now, because this is the time for God's work to go forward. We have lay people who are ready to help us. We are ready here. We've come here with great opportunities and openings to do medical missionary work. Medical missionary work is a very powerful way of making friends with these people and entering into these territories. And so we need to combine the work of the layman together with our input on the medical side in order to break through into these territories at this critical time. And the way we need to do it is through multiple lay ministers working in a variety of places, and we will be supporting and monitoring them and supplying them with help in the medical line. And in order to bring this plan together and to help us to stay in good communication with these people, we believe that an aircraft would be a great help to us. I already have a pilot's license, and I'm most willing and keen to get involved with this kind of medical aviation in combination with facilitating lay workers in the islands of these remote places.
The people of Vanuatu could use your help. Please remember the people of Vanuatu in your prayers.